All right. Hello there, friends. It says we're live, but there's always that fun delay on YouTube. So we are going to wait for it to pop up on the YouTube video to make sure that all looks live. Mine is taking its sweet time, but there we go. There we are. All right. Hello, friends, and welcome to our fourth episode of Craft Hour Retailer Edition. So today I am excited to get to introduce with you. Many of you in the comments may already know her, but I am excited to introduce Carolyn Wolff to you today, owner of Two Scrapbook Friends, who is joining us for today's episode. So welcome, Carolyn.
Hello.
Hi. All right. Well, I see we have quite a few, I think, of your customers in
I'm
our
seeing,
comments already,
I
which
am
is so
seeing a lot of
exciting.
familiar names.
And
Yep.
then we've got Heather behind the scenes chatting behind the Pinkfresh Studio name. So when you see Pinkfresh Studio, that is who you are chatting with.
Awesome. Well, hello
All
to all my friends out there. I can see them saying hello.
I love to see that. Hello to Scrapbook Friends. We're so glad you are joining us today. I see we've got quite a few people actually watching already. That's great. Be sure to chat with us in the live chat. We would love to say hi. You can let us know where you're from if you'd like, and we're just glad you're joining us. Now, if you're watching on replay, thanks so much for catching the replay. We really appreciate it, and we hope you enjoy getting to know Carolyn a little bit better. So let's chat, Carolyn, a little bit about your shop. So tell us about your shop, where you're located, how long you've been in business, all that
Wow,
fun stuff.
I haven't talked about this in a long time. So we are located in Waterloo, Ontario, Canada.
Okay,
So we're 22 years old.
that's amazing.
It is amazing. Yep. Sometimes I feel like we're still an infant.
Okay,
And then we've gone through the awkward teenage years, and now I feel like we're mature adults. Yes. So we're
okay.
we are 22 years old, and it started out just believe it or not, with a neighbor on my street, and we were
That is
friends
so cool.
across the street neighbors, and we used to get together. She scrapbooked before I did,
Okay.
but when I got my teeth into that, it was like there was no turning back. I was all in, and I would run up and down the street and share everything I made with all of my neighbor friends.
Oh, that's so
Oh
fun.
yes, and then we started getting together as a group, and then the group got bigger and bigger, and then it just kind of evolved from there. And next thing you know, we had a store. So I know.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So the common denominator is that I love to share. I love to share this craft. Everything that I do, I want to share. So that's what we do now. We share
It
all
was a
kinds
great
of things.
fit.
Yep,
That's
it was.
awesome.
Yep.
So when we chatted earlier, when you started Two Scrapbook Friends, it was primarily just a scrapbooking store,
It was.
correct?
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
Back then, 22 years ago, card making has always been around, but it was not
Yeah.
what it is today. No.
Yeah.
And scrapbooking was very popular, and there were a lot of stores. Not so much anymore. A lot of them have,
Yeah.
gone by the wayside or evolved and changed into other things.
Yes.
And scrapbooking is still strong in our store. We still do a
Okay.
lot of scrapbooking, but card making is definitely the surge right now for sure.
Yeah.
And we have all become card makers, and we
That was
love.
going to be my next question.
Yep, yep. I mean, I resisted for a while. I mean,
Okay.
I would say if I had to pick one or the other, like if I had to pick, I would definitely go the scrapbooking direction, just because of the memory keeping that's attached to it.
Yeah.
But I would bring all of my card making supplies with me.
Perfect. That's
Oh yes,
perfect.
yeah, they would all go onto my scrapbook layout. So,
So,
but yeah,
do you think that do you think you do both equally, or do you do one more than the other?
I think I probably make more cards than layouts, but I
Okay.
do. We have a monthly series that we release a calendar sort of layout, and so I do all the designing for that. So I always have my hands in the scrapbooking side for sure,
Okay.
and I
Very
I
cool.
won't I won't give that up. Mm-mm. So
That's okay.
no, it's pretty cool. And I mean, I love I think it was just last month when we released our calendar page, we used a Pinkfresh stencil on the layout. Yeah.
That's
So
awesome.
yep.
That's really cool. I love
All of
that
these all of these things can transition over onto
for
scrapbook layout.
sure.
So yeah,
I
so
agree.
we
I think
we
a
do
lot of
both.
things, yeah, I think a lot of things can be used for both things. So I think that's
Oh yeah,
awesome.
yeah,
So when we were chatting, the pandemic kind of made you pivot your business a little bit. Why
it
don't
sure
you
did.
tell us a little bit about that?
It sure did. Yeah, we don't do anything the same as we did pre-pandemic.
Yeah.
We used to be open 6 days a week. I used to teach in-person classes all the time. It was a hectic schedule, and now when the pandemic hit, we were all mandated to close, and then people
Yeah.
opened, closed, opened, closed. We didn't do that. We just stayed closed for 2 years, and we just strictly did everything online. We
Okay.
offered pickup at the store, but you couldn't come in and shop. And then we finally decided to open our doors, but we are only open Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday for in-store
Okay.
shopping. So no
Cool.
evenings, no Saturdays. But what we do offer is a wider variety of products because our online store is quite extensive. And
Okay.
then we now do a lot of this kind of thing online. So we reach far, far further than we ever could before.
That's
And
awesome.
yeah, and I think we can share more and teach more this way too. So I mean, not that COVID was a good thing in any way, but some really good things came out of it, I think. And
Yeah. When
yeah,
you look on the bright side of things, it was a weird, awful, strange time for all
oh
of
yeah,
us. But I
yep,
think the way that we all kind of learned to pivot and found how to reach each other in a virtual
definitely.
fashion was definitely a very beautiful blessing in
Oh,
disguise.
definitely. Like I would say that I have what I will call friends from coast
Yeah.
to coast in Canada, and I've never met them. So
Oh,
um,
wow.
it's pretty cool. Like, I mean, I'm seeing lots of familiar names
Yes.
in the
I,
chat, and some of them I've never met. And it's
that's
pretty
so
cool.
cool.
Yeah, it's really
Well,
cool.
for our Canadian viewers, whether you're watching now live or while on replay, be sure to check out Two Scrapbook Friends. She's got a fabulous online presence. Or if you're in her area,
Yes.
you can shop on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Yep. And we
What are
also
your
do,
store hours?
yeah, we're open right now. Well, we're just going back an hour, so we're going to be open 10 to 4. But we
Perfect.
do run events on
Okay.
Saturdays where we will have special in-person times. So we advertise all of that ahead of time, and then
Awesome. So
people
be
can
sure
come.
to check out Two Scrapbook Friends website to get all of that information.
Yep.
Now, you, I think, have carried Pinkfresh for a while,
A
maybe
long
since the
time.
beginning of
I
Pinkfresh. Correct
I
me if I'm
so
wrong on that.
yep. Hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
So what do you typically focus on when you with what you carry from Pinkfresh Studio?
Well, as steady um flow of your inks and your
Okay.
tools for sure. I
Oh,
mean,
love the
some
tools.
of the best, some of the best, really. Yep. Your Pinkfresh inks, I love. We carry all the mini cubes in our store. I mean, if a
Okay.
customer wants larger pads, we can certainly bring them in for them. But our staple are the mini cubes, and we love that they come in packs of 4 with those gradient colors. Um, the ink storage, oh my gosh.
It's up there.
Oh yeah, mine's up there. Yes, and then the re-inker cases that you come out
So
with, I
pretty.
mean, they're amazing. They're not only pretty, they're very functional too. So I
They
love
are.
them.
Functional but beautiful is what we
That's
call
right.
them.
Yep, yep, and all the tools. And then of course, as you release new products, we sort of pick and choose the ones that we feel are going to
Yeah,
do well in our store.
that's
And
awesome.
then we always have the door open for customers. If they want something from Pinkfresh, we bring it in. So
That's so cool. Well, I
yeah.
love to hear that.
Hmm.
Well, thank you for joining us for the fourth episode of Craft Hour Retail Edition. We are so happy that you signed up and are joining us. We should probably get our cameras flipped around. I know you kind of got to flip yours, so I'm going to go ahead and spotlight myself for a second while you do the
Okay.
flip.
Okay.
There we
Sounds good.
go. All right, so I'm going to
Okay.
let Carolyn get her camera flipped around, and I will go ahead and get mine switched around over to my desktop as well. All right, so I think we've got that. I have my hot foil system turned on. I've made this a little bit too, there we go. All right, I see Carolyn has her area up, so I'm going to remove the
Yep.
pin on myself. So we're both, goodness, I'm knocking things over here.
Okay. And I'm just going to flick on one light just because I feel it's
Absolutely.
a little dark, but
So my hot foil system just heated up. So Carolyn and I are creating really festive holiday cards today using the Holiday Street product suite and sentiments from our holiday greetings sentiment. So I need to go ahead and get the Holiday Street press plate on my hot foil system because I am demonstrating the foiling today. Carolyn has already pre-foiled hers. So I'm going to go ahead and get mine foiled.
Are we
So we have
sharing
that
our cards
going.
now?
We can, yes. Do you want to
Okay.
showcase what we're
Yeah.
creating together? We have
So
done completely different cards with the same exact set,
yes.
friends. I just love showcasing that.
Well,
Aren't those so pretty?
I had a lot of fun.
Look at how fun that shaker card is. Like, oh my goodness, I just love it. And I feel like Carolyn's version looks like the cutest little gingerbread holiday village ever. So I am
Yes.
digging the white on craft there.
So I'm
All
gonna
right,
try
so
and
I'm just waiting for my timer to go off.
woo. I'm
And you
just
know,
zooming in.
I really made my angle quite narrow today. So I'm in that same boat trying to
Well,
let
I just
people
thought I
see
would
a
zoom
little
in a
bit
little bit
more.
more. Hmm. So
All
we'll
right,
see.
so I'm going to be foiling in, I think this is the satin champagne. It's from Spellbinders. It's one of their foil rolls, and it came in that satin metallics pack. So I think it's called satin matte champagne, but I apologize if I'm wrong on that. But I have pre-cut my white cardstock and my little bit of foil. And let me get my desk set up here so that you guys can at least see some of the foiling process. I don't have the biggest desk space, so you might only be able to get to see little bits and pieces here. So my press plate is heated up. Now this is a press plate, which can be used for both hot foiling and the Better Press letterpress system. We love a dual purpose product at Pinkfresh Studio, so we can pass savings along to our customers. But so I love that you can do both techniques with this. I am foiling today, so I'm going to go ahead, remove that. Now the satin, for me, the satin foils, they kind of curl. So I'm going to go ahead and put the foil and the cardstock down together at the same time. And you just want to make sure that the pretty side of the foil is facing downward onto that plate.
Yes, I had to make a note for myself on my machine as a reminder every time I use it.
Do you?
Oh
On
yes.
about how you place the foil or that the
Yes.
satin ones kind of curl up?
No, no, the satin, I mean the direction to put the foil. So I have a little
Gotcha, gotcha.
label. Yep, it says pretty side down.
Pretty side down, exactly. So let's take a look. Beautiful results on that. I will set this guy aside and I will do the reverse foiling a little bit later, but not during the live. I don't have time for that today. But I think that that actually could make a really lovely similar card to Carolyn's
Oh yes.
just by foiling that leftover piece. And I may make that, Carolyn.
Well, I think that's a good idea.
All right.
So I
I have
actually
to
foiled
foil my
as well.
sentiment real quick. So let
Yeah.
me get plate off. You'll notice I am putting the plate directly onto my glass mat, and that's just going to disperse that heat really quickly. And Carolyn is showing her beautiful, while I am hot foiling my sentiment, Carolyn, why don't you let everybody know what you did, how you pre-foiled yours?
Okay, so I actually did foil mine. You
Yep.
could stamp in white ink if you wanted to, but I find that the white ink products are amazing, but you never quite get the look that you can get with foil. And we have shown our customers how you can use black foil and white foil in lieu of ink and really get some great results. So I actually pre-foiled a craft piece of cardstock with white foil. So that is going to be the base and starting point of my card.
And I just love it. When Carolyn showed me that on our little tech rehearsal yesterday, I about died. I'm like, oh my goodness, it looks like a gingerbread village. Like, I just love it.
Yes, I really liked the look of that. And the thing is, you're going to be doing a lot of the ink blending using the stencils. So I thought I would go with a bit more simplified design just to show people that you don't always have to go all in and still get a very effective look.
Absolutely. All right, my timer just went off to foil my sentiment. So I'm going to get that done really quickly. And then I'm going to have to become an ink blending fool because I think I have
Yeah.
7 stencils that I have to ink blend here today. So we're going to see how quickly I can ink blend this cute little scene. Oh, goodness, that was hot.
Well, I am not going to become an ink blending fool. I'm going to be nice and calm over here with my one color.
I may be sweating by the end of today's craft hour retailer edition. It's fine. It's fine.
Oh, I thought I would leave the sweating up to you.
There we go. All
Yes.
right. And there is my beautiful champagne or satin champagne foiled sentiment. I'll set that aside and die cut it a little bit later. But I'm going to get my foil system out of the way here. Now, something that to show you guys, I can already touch this press plate and put it away because I let that heat disperse on my glass mat. So nice little tip for you guys. If you have a glass mat that you use, it makes your press plate cool off really quickly, which I love. I am a clean as I
Ah,
go. I like to put things away as I go. So
that's
nice little
amazing.
tip for all of you.
Yep. So we are very pro glass mat at our store. I keep telling
Nice.
my customers all the time how amazing the glass mats are. So there's
I
another
love to
reason.
hear that.
Yep, that's another reason to get one.
Perfect. All right. I'm going to just tape my panel down here and let me get my fancy little ink ink holders out. And okay, so for me, for stencil one, I am just going to go in order of all of the stencils. I am starting out with Sunkissed and Waterfall.
And I am blending with white ink, white pigment ink. And I'm just going to do, I'm only using 2 out of the 7 stencils.
Very nice. So I'm going to use 6, I believe, of the 7 stencils. I think I am omitting one of them. Because I'm going to do something a little different with it. Okay, so I am doing the houses in Sunkissed and the little lane in Waterfall. So I'm going to take one of my smaller brushes first, and I'm going to do the houses, and then I might add a little bit of masking tape to the ones that are closest to the cute little road so that I don't mix the two colors. I don't think that these two would look very pretty mixed together, so definitely want to avoid that. And you will also notice that I kind of omit doors and such. I'm just leaving the doors white. I didn't want to add them. I didn't want to add color to those. So I'm mostly focusing on the cute little houses and the pretty little lane on this stencil. And I love that you are blending in with white pigment ink. I
Yes,
think that creates such a pretty like snowy effect.
it looks really cool. And so I'm just going to talk a little bit about the white ink. So these are the new, are these, what do you call them? The 1-inch
Those are
brushes?
1-inch blending
Yeah.
brushes. Yep.
So these are brand new. And I had a chance to try these at the Las Vegas show that we did
Yes.
in the summer. And I mean, I'll be 100% honest. I saw, oh, great, another blending brush. I have lots of blending brushes, but I tried this and I was like, oh my gosh. So I find for large areas, it's really nice. So if you've got like a whole background that you're doing or something like that, they're amazing. And today was the first time I actually tried them with the white ink.
And what
And
do you think?
I really like them. As far as blending brushes go, it gives me the best coverage of all the brushes that I have. I still do like to come in a little bit with a pouncer sometimes just to
Absolutely.
really jam that ink in areas. But this is beautiful for shading. And you'll notice when I do the top part of the stencil here, I'm going to use this brush first. And then I'm really going to focus on the very edge of the house line to really build up that white ink. And it works quite nicely. So I was really impressed with these.
That's awesome. Well, fun fact, maybe I'm not sure if you know this, but we went through about 5 iterations of this blending brush until it was exactly how we wanted it to be because we wanted it to be different than what is out there on the market. We wanted it to create the smoothest blend and make blending larger areas easy and effortless. So
Well, you nailed
we
it.
put a lot of testing into these brushes.
Yeah, you nailed it. It's really it's amazing. It everything just goes on like butter. It's very, very smooth.
Well, we love to hear that. Thank you. All right,
Mhm.
I am officially done with stencil number 1. Not much happening yet. We've got a couple houses blended in here and the start of the lane. But as we add stencils, this will just start coming together and it will look more and more like a cute little winter village.
So my
So
my village is going to be in a snowstorm.
I love that.
You know, like
Mine
that
is
cozy.
it's kind of a it's a, you know, it's a little snowstormy, just not as much maybe.
Yep.
All right, I think I'm down to nope, I'm gonna need to. So we'll just go like this. So for my second layer, I'm going to add sky blue. So mostly I wanted this to kind of look like snow, but I didn't want to just leave it white because I did have color going on with mine. So I chose to use sky blue, which is a nice light blue, and I'm just going to really lightly blend it over those areas. It'll create that cute little uh, stripe down the center of the lane, but it won't be real bold. And it will just help add a little bit of color into the bottom half of my little scene that I'm creating here.
Well, it looks pretty great so far.
Thank you. All
I hate to tell
right.
you, Leah, but my stenciling's all done.
Oh, well, yeah. Mine is not even close.
No.
You're gonna have to handle the conversation, I guess, here while I
Maybe. I don't know. Anybody,
feverishly ink blend. I'm
yes,
just
anybody
kidding.
who knows me knows I can pretty much handle the conversation.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, so that looks really good. So I'm just going to hold this up so everyone can kind of see that by using just two stencils, I have created all the houses to be that to remain that craft color and the road
Pretty.
and the trees, but all the rest of it has been filled in with white pigment ink. So it kind of just
Just
looks,
love it.
yeah, it looks really cool. So when I was done my card, I thought, well, I could have done this and I could have done that. And some of the really cool things I thought of doing were, and I think you and I discussed this a little bit too, is I could have made the houses on the roof. I could have run like a paste through them to make them look like there was snow on them with some texture, or I could add glitter,
Yeah,
or there's all kinds of things you could do. But I decided to, I was happy with how my card turned out, and I'm just going to kind of keep it simple and basic. But there's a lot of things that you can do to elevate it even further.
absolutely. So when you take a first look at this set, it's one big scene, but I think if you look at it and you can look at it with different examples, like with all of the colors that I'm using, and I believe Carolyn created a card that was super colorful
I did.
as well.
Yeah, I
There
can pull
really
that.
truly are so many ways that you can use this set, and it looks different every single time. Yes, that one is
Mhm.
so cute
Yeah,
with
so this
the
one,
terrarium die.
yep. Yep, I pulled out my terrarium die and I actually did foil. I foiled in silver. And
So
then I
pretty.
did all of the ink blending and I had a whole complete panel. And then what I did was I decided to kind of put it, in a bit of a snow globe kind of look. And I put it
Yes,
inside the terrarium. So it works to do that as well. You don't have to use the full panel. You can kind of narrow in on just the areas you want to show, or, um, cut your panel down. But it's really fun to play with.
I just love it. I think that it all of the different samples you made turned out so fun, and just goes to show that you really truly can create very different projects from one product, and I just love
Oh,
it.
yeah. Well, and I had a hard time not keep on going. Like I just like, well, anytime
Fair,
you pick up
fair,
your colors, it's a different scene. So I'm gonna actually take,
absolutely.
yeah, I'm gonna take a die now, and I'm just gonna cut my panel down a little bit, and I'm gonna give it a nice little scalloped edge. So I'm gonna do that off.
I'm just gonna keep ink blending over
Yeah,
here.
you just keep ink blending.
I am on stencil number 4, and I'm starting my pink houses now. I'm going back to a smaller brush because I don't want to ink blend the doors like I had done previously as well. I want those doors to stay white. So I'm just going to come in with my smaller brush and get all of the rest of those. Just for reference, while we were just chatting, stencil 3, I used Meadow. That was pretty much just the tree layer of the stencil. And so for this layer, I am using Cherry Blossom to do the first little set of, or it's basically another layer of the cute little houses. And then I will also ink blend the garland on the tree, the big main tree as well. Now, you could absolutely blend the whole thing. If you wanted to have pink doors, you could absolutely have pink doors. I am just leaving them as is.
Okay. So now, just to show you the next step. So I have
Oh,
now,
so cute.
yep. So I've just given it a little bit of detail with a scalloped um, rectangle with some stitching, and just kind of made that a panel now that I can use on my card. And I am a firm believer of backing everything in black. I love black. So I think I like to add a little bit of black to every card. But before I do that, I'm actually going to splatter on my background now.
Oh,
Make it
you're
look
going,
like
you're going big.
well, I have
I
to do
love it.
something while you're still ink blending. So
Fair, fair.
yeah. So I'm going to bring in my messy splatter box, and I'm just going to give that a little bit of splatter with white ink, and just give it like a snowy storm look. So that's what I'll be working on real quick.
Very cool. You know, I'm not doing too bad. I'm actually already on stencil 5. We're doing great
See,
on time here. Yeah.
we'll be caught
Uh,
up in no time.
I'm going to be caught up in no time here, friends. So, you'll notice I masked off. I didn't want to blend those uh Leah, doors. I didn't want to blend the doors in peonies, so I masked those off and I'm just adding peonies. Now, something I want to mention with this layer, I'm using peony. It's the second shade in our Rose Garden color family, but it can blend very bold. You'll notice I'm actually keeping a very light touch because I'm going to come in on the next stencil that has the windows, and I'm going to run marigold over those to make them look like there's somebody home and the windows are glowing and give it that Christmas glow. So
Nice.
I don't want to blend the peony too dark because I don't want to muddle out the window glow. So I am still keeping the peony relatively light and airy.
Well, and I love too that you can take inks and you can use the same color and get different looks from them by just lightening up your pressure.
Absolutely.
Yep,
But how cute is that little pastel village? It is coming together,
it
isn't it?
is.
I love
Yep.
it.
So whether
Okay,
you like dark tones or light tones, you can pick different
so
inks, or
here,
you can lighten up your hand, or whatever you want to do. But
absolutely. Okay, stencil 6 is the rooftops. I'm going to do something different with the rooftops. We'll get to those later. So I am completely omitting stencil 6
woo,
and we are moving up to stencil 7. I'm on my last stencil. This stencil will take me a little bit longer because I have that night sky that I want to blend to it. But I also have all of these cute little windows that I want to blend in. I'm going to start with the windows. And I am going to use, oh, that's so pretty. Oh, it just looks like a snowy village. I love it.
right? Yep.
I just love it. All right, I'm
So
going to
that's
start getting all of my glowy windows blended in here. That just turned out so pretty. I love
well.
it.
So I already have one that's dried. So I'm going to quickly run that through my die cut machine with the rectangle border, and then
Absolutely.
I'll be ready for the next step.
Okay. I am getting there, friends. And I think the great thing is Carolyn showed that while I am using most of the stencils, not all of the stencils, but I'm using a good portion of the stencils. You don't have to. If you wanted to color in just a few of the houses, you could. You really truly can use all or omit as many of the stencils as you want, and that will give you a different look every single time.
And
Okay.
Leah, correct me if I'm wrong, but this
Yes.
particular set, you don't have to go in order either, do you?
No, I think the only one that you would want to keep in order are the stencil 1 and stencil 2, just because you've got the lane.
Right,
So
right.
if you wanted to have that darker tone, which I actually technically went lighter, but if you wanted to have that darker tone, you would want to do those ones in order. But other than that, no, you really don't have to. They
Yeah,
are all separate. They're for the most part all separate layers.
which is kind of nice because sometimes, you just grab a stencil and start doing it and you're like, oh, shoot, I'm out of order. But I found
Absolutely.
this one to be pretty forgiving.
Yes. All right. I have to do a little masking here for um, the windows. I don't want them to be green when I color over in blue. So I'm going to do just a little tiny bit of masking here. All right. I think right there. Perfect. I think that should be good. And I am going to finish up with sapphire. It's going to be a nice, crisp, dark, cool night in my cute little holiday village, holiday street.
Holiday Street. Yep. So this suite
Calling it a
comes
village.
with stamp,
Hmm.
die, stencil.
There's no dye in this one, actually.
Oh, that's right. That's right. No die. And then there's
Yep.
also a press book.
Yes. So if you don't hot foil or use a better press letterpress system, we got you covered because there is a matching cling stamp that you can use instead.
And if they want to get that foiled look, they could heat emboss instead.
Yeah. So for mine, because I did that kind of satin champagne, if you were looking for a good option when it came to heat embossing, you could do like a pewter embossing powder or even a silver embossing powder, or if you've got a version of champagne, that would work as well. And ta-da, my little village is almost complete.
Whoa, you're catching
Look at
up.
how fun that turned out.
It looks good. I love your sky.
Love it. Thank you. All right, I have to get a little cleanup going here. And then we can move along. I mean, I am to the point where I'm going to assemble because I'm going to add some glitter to this, friends. If
Ooh.
I don't know about you, but like if you can't add glitter to holiday cards, when can you add glitter?
Well, I'm interested in this step because I think my card would look really cute with some glitter on it, but I did not do it.
Okay, perfect. Well, so there are different ways you can do this. I'm going to do it kind of a basic way, but I've got to trim my panel all down and get it. I want to get it adhered to my card base first so that when I apply the glitter, it can then just sit there and dry, set up in place. So I'm going to grab my handy dandy little paper trimmer, and this village is going to go edge to edge on my A2 size card base. So I am just going to trim right at the edge of each piece, or each side, pardon me. And that's what I love this little trimmer for, because it's got that nice little metal guide on it to help me really get it in the right place. Oh, lovely. I think my neighbors are lawn mowing all their leaves. That's super fun.
Do they
Thankfully,
not know we're making a
Zoom
village?
mutes loud noises, so you guys won't hear it. I just have to hear it.
Okay, so while you're trimming, I'm just going to
Yeah,
explain my next step here. So I'm actually making
absolutely.
a entire card front shaker panel. So I have the panel made and I have completely assembled my card panel. So now I'm going to slip it inside of the shaker panel and I'm going to close up three sides. I'm going to leave the top open so that I can insert my shaker things.
That is
Okay.
awesome. Yep.
Yeah.
I
So
can't
that's
wait
what
to
I'm
see it.
working
I
on.
think that's awesome. I'm just getting my panel glued down to my card so I can do the glittering. Someone in the comments said, I love glitter, but it gets everywhere. Yes, it does. So the glitter step is 100% optional. If you wanted to grab that stencil and just color your woofs in with another color, that is completely okay. I know that glitter is not for everybody.
But it is
Now,
very,
some other
very
thing you could do is you could do a paste or something that kind of mimics the look of snow that's
yep.
maybe not glittery. So keep that in mind as well. Okay.
Okay.
So I did this in a really super technical fashion. I'm going to show you guys. So all I did to add the glitter to my roofs is I just took my liquid glue and I just kind of added glue to the areas where I wanted the glitter to stick. It's okay if it's not perfect. That will even kind of give off the feel of like the imperfect snowy look, and I'm just doing my best to keep within the confines of the foiling. It's okay if it gets a little bit out of the lines. I kind of stick by the if this is handmade, not Hallmark, and it doesn't have to be perfect. And I'm going to do a few houses at a time here. So I did the first few roofs. I'm going to pour on a little bit of glitter. I'm going to be honest with you. I put a bunch of glitter into a canister. This is like Prisma glitter and chunky glitter all mixed together in one.
Nice.
Yeah, and so it's just a fun way to add some glitter. Now, this definitely is going to be a little messy. So if glitter is something that you just say no to, I can completely understand, and you can totally skip this step.
Well, I think it adds such a great little detail. Again, is it something that I pull out all the time? No, but is it something that I would try once in a while? Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And so you can be more technical. I think there are some paste type of um glues out there that you can do for glitter.
Oh, for
Um,
sure.
but I don't have that, so I'm doing it this way. It's not perfect, but I actually kind of love the imperfect nature of the way I am adding the glue, because if you think about it, nature and snow and all of that, it's not perfect.
It's not.
Um, it doesn't come down in perfect form most of the time. So
No.
I like that. It's kind of giving a little bit of that snowy embankment feel.
Yep. And I have got my shaker pocket all filled up now and it's closed up.
Lovely.
So none
Love
of
it.
this is going to leak out and it just moves around in there so nicely.
So what do you call those? So I have always called those like edge to edge shakers. I think some
Yeah.
people call them like infinity shakers. What do you lean towards?
Shaker pockets. I
Shaker
mean,
pockets. Okay.
yes. Yep. So there's a number of different ones on the market and they come with the adhesive already kind of on the sides. They're super easy to
Oh,
do.
that's
And
kind of cool.
yes, like you don't have to, it does the work for you. And the nice thing is, like you said, it is edge to edge. So your whole panel becomes the shaker and there's lots of movement in there, which is really cool. So
That is
now
cool.
I'm just going to attach that to my actual card base and
Perfect.
then it will be part of the front of my card. And then I'm going to do all the rest of the decorating on top of my card.
I love it.
Yep.
I'm going to do the same. So I
Okay.
need to die cut my foiled sentiment out. I already went ahead and cut a couple of extra layers, so we didn't have to worry about that. But I'm going to grab my little tiny die cut machine, and I'm going to cut my sentiment out, and we can start to finish assembling our cards here. Ooh, that's glittery.
Yeah. So I cheated. I did not use foil because I was leaving the foiling up to you, but I did achieve a foily look just by using embossing powder. So I
Absolutely.
too, yep, have,
So, and
have got that.
that's a good point to showcase. So I used the press plate set for this sentiment set. But there's also a matching stamp set. Say
Yes.
all the same sentiments, coordinates with the same die set. So if you're not a foiler or a better presser, you have the stamp set available to you, which you can use you can stamp it with your favorite black ink, or you can heat emboss it and do, a lot of the similar things that we are doing. So
Correct.
I used that satin champagne foil, but you could do pewter or like a champagne colored embossing powder and get a very similar, if almost not almost exactly the same look.
And I
And
really
I
like
just love
sentiments
this
too.
sentiment.
Yeah, I love the shape of them when you cut them out.
Hmm.
Hmm.
They have like a modern yet somewhat you kind of think about like the old vintage holiday cards from like the 60s, like the 50s and the 60s. They have a little bit of that flair, but with a little bit more of a modern touch because it's Pinkfresh and we like things to look a little modern. So,
Yep. I also thought they kind of looked like hanging signs. Do you know what I mean?
oh, yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
like I thought this one really looked, I don't know which one did you use, but this one
I
looks like,
used the Let Your Heart Be Light one,
yeah.
which I just love. I love that sentiment. I think most of these sentiments are based on Christmas carols
Oh, is that right?
for the
I
most
did.
part. Maybe a couple aren't, but I think most of them, a lot of them anyway, are um, from little excerpts from holiday songs.
Well, and I just thought too, when I was stamping them out, I thought, they kind of look like signs.
They
So I
do.
thought,
I think that's actually a great point. They actually do look a little bit like holiday signs.
hmm
Okay, so I cut I think 3 additional layers off camera beforehand and glued them all together so you guys didn't have to watch that boring part. So I'm
oh,
just going to go ahead
I
and
demonstrated it. So they watched me do
perfect.
it. Yeah.
Thank you.
It was boring, but they watched.
So I'm just going to go ahead and add my top layer to the very top. So I will say that this is probably about the flattest card that I have made in a long time, but with the glitter and the foiling and just a little bit of pop-up that I added with the layers of the sentiment, it ended up just turning out so fun. I am so thrilled with how it turned out.
Well, I don't think you can go wrong with this set, to be honest with you.
I know, it's such a fun set. All right, I'm kind of tucking it here on along the road. Um, I'm not sure. I had another thought about the glitter roofs. Like if you have like that glitter glue stuff like stickles or, I think there's a lot of different options
Oh,
out
yeah.
there now. You could do that as well. And then the glitter would definitely be more contained. It wouldn't shed the way that like the glitter that I used. So, if you have some type of glitter glue in your crafting arsenal, that would also be a fantastic option.
It would.
All right, I'm ready to embellish my card. You may have all of your embellishments mostly done with all of um the shaker part. I'm not sure if you're adding more.
Nope. I'm just going to do
Okay.
the sentiment, and I am just doing a little poinsettia,
Okay.
and then my gems. So I think we're
Perfect.
pretty close in
All
finishing
right.
at the same time.
So I grabbed the champagne colored clear drops for my card today.
So did I.
One, did you?
I
Perfect.
did.
So I thought that the little small ones would adorn the tree really nice. And then I'm going to stick a few up in the sky to kind of look like really bright stars. I thought that would be cute. Yes, Heather said they look like they would be hanging off of like lampposts in
Yes,
Hallmark movie towns.
that
So
is exactly what I
that is
thought.
exactly it.
Yep.
That's a perfect way to uh describe that, Heather. So that is I agree completely.
hmm
All
Well,
right,
and
I'm actually
Carol,
going to go ahead
she,
and add little glue dots here.
yeah, Carol says she uses stickles on her for her snow all the time, which I think is super smart.
Yes, that's a great idea. And like I said, that's a great way to keep that glitter contained. I know
Yep.
that some people are just very much so like no to the glitter because it gets
Yep.
everywhere.
But there's always
I don't
ways around that.
I don't mind sparkling. It's okay.
Yep. You'll be all glittery tonight.
Yes, I will. All right, I'm just picking the very tiniest from the clear drops to adorn the tree. So I'm pretty much covering up the little foiled ornaments with the embellishments. And then I'm just going to put some up in the sky to act like really lovely bright stars.
You might actually beat me.
Really?
Yeah, with all that stenciling you did.
That is amazing.
I know.
It's probably because I did have done this card once. So the stenciling it came by through much quicker because I wasn't like thinking and planning like what color do I want to do next? Do I want to do that?
Well,
Like I didn't ponder. I just went. I just went because it was already done.
you're just making me feel better.
I'm
But no.
sorry.
Well, the thing is, I'm a slow crafter. I really am. So,
I typically am too. So if it makes you feel better, I'm normally the one slow, and Heather, when we do like combined lives and stuff, I'm normally the one that's always behind.
oh, I don't do anything fast. It just doesn't happen that way for me. But and
That's
that's why I
okay.
picked a more simple design because I thought, you know what, I'm going to be the one who's like the video will be done and ended, and I'll still be working on my card.
I think it's coming along fantastically.
Oh, I think it looks really good. I love it.
All right. I just love these champagne clear drops up in the sky. Like the clear ones would have been pretty, but there's just something about the champagne ones that kind of emit like a little bit of a glow. And
Yes.
so they look like really glowy stars in the sky.
Well, I might have to add some to my sky, but my
Absolutely.
my whole panel shakes up there, so I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe if you make another one and you don't do it as a shaker, you
Yep.
could
Oh, for sure.
try to add the clear drops as little stars.
Hmm. So I'm just tucking in some holly leaves here, and then I'm ready to add my gems, and I'm done too.
Perfect. Well, I'll just hold mine up here and I will make sure I've kind of let Heather run the comments. We mostly just chatted with each other and um did that. So I'm just gonna make sure there wasn't um okay, Gwen is asking what 6 to 8 colors of ink would you recommend to get a good variety? That's a great question.
It is a good question.
Gwen, I would think about the rainbow and maybe so like Roy G. Biv and and then I would maybe add a pink in there as well. So think about that and pick like what your very favorite shade ink is in that color family. So when I think on red, and I think on like red from Pinkfresh, I love Berrylicious. But I would also want a pink tone. So for me, that would probably be Cherry Blossom or Coral Reef. And then I would just go through that. So think about Roy G. Biv, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. Well, for me, I don't need two purples. So I would pick one purple and then I would move up and have like a pink that goes before the red. So just something to think of if you're thinking of picking just a good ratio of color. And so if you're choosing to blend with those, just think you could blend with a really light hand
Oh, yes.
initially. And then if you were adding a stencil that was a detail layer, you could grab that same color, blend with a little bit of a deeper hand and deepen the tone. Um, so there's definitely a lot of ways that you can use one single color. So hopefully
For
that
sure.
helped answer your question.
Well, and I find too that picking colors, I get asked those kinds of questions a lot too. And picking colors for people is hard because you don't know what types of things that they're going to necessarily create with. So
Yeah,
that has a lot to do with it as well.
absolutely.
Okay, I'm done.
All right,
Woohoo!
you're done.
And I have two cards
Beautiful.
now.
And just look at that. Look, we used the same exact products and look at how different they are from one another.
Yep.
It's just wild. I'm thinking maybe on my card I added some Stargazer and I didn't notate that because they definitely look a little different in terms of blues.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
okay. That is okay.
It's okay. Yep. I think they look amazing.
Thank you. I think yours are amazing too. What a fun idea for a shaker card. All right. Um, I am going to spotlight myself and I'm going to switch back to my front facing camera if you want to do the same.
Okay, will do.
Okay. All right. I got to oop, I never turned that off. I was blinking which camera was the right one for my front face. And I
Okay,
will just wait for Carolyn
so we're
to get
good.
hers up and running. No worries. So thank you guys so much for joining us. Um, we're ending just a little bit early, but we can chat for a few minutes here with all of our friends in the comments. Well, what do you think? Did you have fun?
Me? Oh
Yeah,
my God,
you.
totally. Can we do this again next week?
Maybe not next week.
No, it was
But
totally fun. Hmm.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad you joined us. I had fun getting to know you as a
Thank
store
you.
owner
You
better.
as well.
Thank you.
Well, I
So
see you in videos and I see you all the time online. And so it was fun to be able to interact and get to know you.
I love that. I think that's
Hmm.
super fun. It's great to, place names with faces and
Hmm.
all of that. It's funny because, we see you guys in like retailer events and such, but most of the time you're in comments and so it's nice to be able to place the face with the name that I see on screens and such. So
Me too. Me too. Hmm.
we have a lot of people loving the different results. And so thank you everybody that joined us live today. And if you're watching on replay, We're happy you were here. If you have questions, for those watching on replay, you won't be able to be in the live chat, but you can absolutely leave a comment on this video, and we will check back. And if there's questions, we do our best to answer those in a timely manner throughout the week. So feel free to ask questions and leave your comments in the video comments. All right, friends. Well, kind of last call. If you have any questions at all for me or for Carolyn from Two Scrapbook Friends in Ontario, Canada, I think I said all that right. Kind of the last call for those. Carolyn, any final thoughts at all?
Nope, just have fun crafting, really.
Perfect. That's perfect final notes. So it's Friday, friends. So you have a whole weekend in front of you. I hope that you maybe might get some crafty time in with us. Hey, if you choose to recreate one of our cards, whether it's mine or Carolyn's or both, we'd love you to share them. So if you share anywhere on Instagram or Facebook, be sure to tag us. We're Pinkfresh Studio everywhere. What about you?
Same thing. Just
Okay,
our
Two
store name.
Scrapbook Friends.
Yep.
Okay, just look us up, tag us. We would love to see your cards. So, um, one of the big parts of crafting is sharing it. So we want to see it.
Yep. It's
So be
all
sure to
about the
share with us.
sharing. Yep.
All right. Well, friends, we're going to end just a little bit early. I hope you have a wonderful Friday and a wonderful weekend. And once again, thank you so much, Carolyn, for joining us. I was thrilled to get to
Well,
work with
thank
you
you
for an
so much for
hour.
having.
And
Yep.
awesome. All right, everyone. Bye. Have a great evening.
See ya.
I just always wait.